Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. Today I'm joined by Adam Frank, the founder and CEO of Hypsee, a platform designed to help spiritual creators and advisors grow their business, connect with clients, manage sessions, offer live or recorded guidance, and bring more structure to the work many spiritual entrepreneurs are already doing behind the scenes. This is such an important conversation because so many people in the spiritual sphere are gifted, intuitive, and deeply called to help others, but the business side can just feel so overwhelming and it just gets out of control when they're not sure what to do. They ask questions like, how much do they need to charge? How do I manage my bookings? How do I get visible? Do I need a website? How can I go forward with this? How do I grow without burning out or losing the heart of the work that I'm doing? So today we're going to be talking about spiritual entrepreneurship, technology, visibility, growth, business growth, and Adam's own journey with the platform along with his spiritual awakening journey, spirituality in his life, and how he shows up in the world today. Thank you, Adam, for joining me. I'm so glad that you're able to have this conversation with me. Can you start by sharing who you are and what Hypsee is all about?
Sure. So thank you so much for having me, Shaz. I'm really excited. Who am I? I'm Adam. I'm gonna be turn 40 in about a month from now. I was born in Australia. I'm married to Avital for about 15 years now. We have a child called Geffen. She's 6 years old. Um, and in my essence, I would want to look at myself as this type of entrepreneur who never stops, always wants, to optimize and, help others, help the world become just a better place. Um, and somehow I found myself the CEO at Hypsee. I'm gonna take a few steps back. I've been in the entrepreneurial business for about 8 years now, maybe 9 or 10. Beforehand, I started in another startup company. I started in IT. I was, some sort of technological developer. And then I got promoted, and eventually I became the CTO of the company. I befriended the CEO. I learned from him tons. And one day, my friend and I, Idan, we just decided to quit our jobs and start our own thing. We started with just some ridiculous idea that we brainstormed about 2 months. And after 2 months, I told him, listen, like, if we don't start anything now, we'll need to just, stop this and go and find a proper job because, we needed the salary. So we looked into a few industries at the time. It was about 10 years ago, and we looked in a few industries. And the industry that really stood out was the creator economy. It was about, 2016 at the time, and they weren't called influencers. It wasn't a thing. They were called vloggers and YouTubers and things like that. And we fell in love with that market. At the time, there were about estimated 3 to 5 million influencers or vloggers at the time. Today, we're talking about hundreds of millions worldwide, right? But at the time, it was fascinating, and we actually saw the future in the creator economy. We knew that traditional ads and traditional commercials and traditional TV is dying. It's going to go away, and it's going to move from the mega stars, the mega VIP model, to local stars and local VIP models. And there were a lot of problems in the industry, a lot of challenges. And we decided that we're going to focus on that industry. We chose to deal with um, the industry of fashion within the creator economy. We started this company called Try On Heroes. Um, it survived for like 2 months until like the idea behind it was follow your body doppelganger, and whenever they try on their clothes from the halls, then you can kind of like guesstimate that it's going to suit you, and then you could actually purchase whatever they tried out without ever leaving the house. Um, that 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 was a nice naive idea, but we stumbled upon a lot of challenges. And after about 2 or 3 months, we tried to raise money. We got kicked out of all doors, and we pivoted to something that we called Wizio, and Wizio was way more accurate than Try On Heroes. Wizio was kind of like a generic platform, a solution for all creators out there, and the idea was to help them monetize their expertise in front of their audiences. So that was a nice pivot. Once we changed to that idea, we started getting funded, and that's how we started Wizio. And Wizio was really cool. It's still running, and it is a platform that allows all types of creators to go and offer advice and their services and their time and their love and their feedback and their passion to their audiences one-on-one. Um, about I would say 5 years ago, we started seeing a really interesting trend. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 6 years ago, we saw that the most dominant sector that adopted Wizio was the sector of the spiritual creators. So it happened around 5, 6 years ago. And we saw that more and more spiritual creators are downloading us and using us and enjoying our services. And then I started looking into it like really, really seriously. We started speaking with the audiences, we started speaking with our clients, and that's where we fell in love with the spiritual industry. And about 4 years ago, we decided to branch out from Wizio to a dedicated, specific company called Hypsee, which is based on Wizio's technology, but it's specifically dedicated for the spiritual creators, the spiritual industry. So the jargon and the UI and the design and all the mindset around Hypsy is around spirituality. And here we are today. And a little piece of information. After we started, so within the pivot, we actually got acquired by a spiritual creator company about 4 years ago. That's where we shifted. That's where we moved from Wizio and branched out to Hypsee with this acquisition. So now we're post-acquisition, 4 years already post-acquisition, and the sky's the limit.
I love that. And I love how you just shared the evolution of it, how it started as one idea, moved into another, like back in the vlogging area and stuff like that, compared to what it is today. Today, it is phenomenal. There are so many different pathways people can use, and the industry in itself is growing. And as a spiritual entrepreneur, I know working out what programs to use, what works, how it can all come together can be a hard navigation place to start from. So, with that in mind, as a spiritual entrepreneur, tell me why Hypsy or Hypsy is better than the competitors out there.
Okay, so let's talk about what Hypsy is all about. So Hypsy, the way we define it, is the leading platform for spiritual creators. There's nothing like Hypsy outside today. We offer a variety of tools that allows creators to offer personalized advice to their followers, such as one-on-one, pay-per-minute, instant calls, scheduled calls, SMS readings, recorded readings, live stream management tools, lead collection tools, marketing automations, 24/7 support. We accept all payments, and we promise 100% exposure as opposed to social media algorithms that really control your access. So, what is Hypsy all about? Hypsy is a solution for spiritual entrepreneurs, on all from all sizes. Those who don't have a website, so instead of you now going and building your own website, putting a lot of resources, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of thought, you can just come and sign up to Hypsee within 2, 3 clicks. You have a profile ready to go with all the top of the notch technological solutions out there. So it saves you tons of time. Those who already have a website, they're very limited into what they can offer, and everything is done very manually. So if you want to add a new service, if you want to add a new product, everything is upon yourself. You have to do it, and it just takes a lot of time and resources, and the ongoing thing is just very, very exhausting. We can talk about creator burnout, later on in the discussion, but Hypsee is really here to help you prevent burnout, or at least linger it. And then for the mega creators, those who have huge, already have such a great ongoing business, we provide tools that they cannot build themselves, such as the pay-per-minute tool. This is the most prominent tool that we know to offer today. We spent millions in building it, and it's actually it's the best tool that spiritual creators can use today. And we're giving this access to all of those independent creators, something that they won't be able to build themselves. We can also talk about how awesome instant calls are later, but this is a type of a product and technology that you can't really go and build it by yourself.
I love that because there's so many great platforms out there and so many great ideas of what we need, of how to bring about doing calls, whether it's doing readings or having coaching calls or Zooms, or like there's school, there's Patreon, there's all these different platforms. Then there's your YouTube for your videos, your website. And as an entrepreneur, I can tell you, we just get overwhelmed and I can't learn everything all at once. So this solution sounds really plausible. As the spiritual creator behind it, when you talked about the invention of Wizio to Hypsee and the other program as well, how did the conversation start between you and your friend? Was it something that just was like a spiritual download, a guidance, an intuitive thing, or just we were having a conversation and something popped out?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and I just want to add something to the previous question. Um, a lot of spiritual creators and many just creators out there, they use bunches of tools to have this kind of suite. Okay, pay me through PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, then email me through WhatsApp and do this, and I will email you through. I'm going to send you a bird with a note, and the bird with the note will need to do 2 somersaults, and then I will send you the receipt. You will knock on my grandmother's door, and then you'll get my service. We just wanted to take all. You can see that you're enjoying that.
That's what it feels like. It really does.
Yeah, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to collect everything and put everything in one platform, so it will be super easy for everyone, for creators and their clients. So that's for the previous question. Um, the conversation between Idan and me, about shifting our focus towards the spiritual industry, I think it was kind of like, it wasn't one single conversation. It was kind of like this slow cook that we just understood that this is our call. This is like what's going to happen. We didn't even really talk about it. It just happened because our methodology is to speak with our clients, to speak with our users. I speak with tons of creators every single month. That's the way we work. We always need to make sure that we're building the right products for the people. So as part of those conversations, we both, but I'm going to talk about myself. I felt the different energy when I was speaking to spiritual creators rather than just regular mentors, regular coaches. When I spoke with financial coaches, with finance coaches, crypto coaches, I didn't get that same depth and that same feeling that I got from the spiritual creators out there. And the more I went deeper, the more questions I had, the more understanding that I have no clue about that world. And that world was really, really mysterious for me and intriguing. I knew a lot about business world. I knew a lot about finance world. I knew about a lot about many other stuff. But spirituality for me is kind of like something that I avoided most of my life. I come from a religious family, and I decided that it's not for me at the age of 14 or something. And with all of the challenges with my family and so on, they accepted me. It's all good. But it was challenging, and it was, going against the flow. Um, and due to that nature, I would like to think about myself that I kind of had this anti or some sort of avoidance to try to figure that out. And when I met it as an adult, as a grown up, that's where I actually understood that I can explore spirituality my way, and that's when everything clicked. So it's less about religion, more about spirituality, and when you're in the religion stream, um, they often take you to different paths that maybe even contradict the spirituality paths, because my spirituality is a lot about myself and being grounded and being in the moment and being present. And religion a lot of the time takes you to this force that is not that you can't control and that you have to obey, and like really like it's 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 a different direction. And when I met spirituality as a grown up, I actually learned to see that there are many other aspects to spirituality outside of the religion stream that really interested me. So, and I think that it was pretty much the same for Idan. And then everything like made a lot of sense. And that's exactly when we got acquired by a spirituality company. Like, we were looking to partnership with spirituality companies, and at the end of the day, they just decided to acquire us. So everything just made sense, and the stars literally got
Blind.
aligned.
I love
Yeah.
that because so many people go through that. That's part of what I consider the awakening process as they look at religion and the constraints within it. Religion, to me, and it's just my perspective, is it's very boxing you in. It is less expansive and it's structured, it's rigid, and it's controlled by rules and like vows that you have to make, and just basically like even the 10 commandments. They have this list of rules that you must follow, and they ram it down your throat whilst you're in the church. And then you walk outside and you break the rules and everything's okay because you can be forgiven if you just go and ask for forgiveness against your sins. But why have a bunch of rules if you can't follow them in the first place? It makes no sense to me. It does my whole head in. And that's a whole nother conversation we could go into. But I also find it fascinating that it's not one religion. As a child, I searched for a religion. I went through practically all of them to go and
Wow.
test them and to see, did this one work better than the other. I went to the Catholic system, to Baptist, to Church of England, to the Latter-day Saints. I looked at Hillsong a little bit, wasn't interested in Scientology, was not interested in the Mormons. I wasn't interested in the Jehovah's Witness because they all had rules and strict guidelines that I don't conform. It's just the way that I am. And it
Yeah.
just irritated me under the skin. It wasn't until I found spirituality and they operate on principles rather than laws or guidance. They're principles, they're open minded principles to your own interpretation, and it's how you activate them and use them in your life. And they also come with no dogma, and the no dogma is the biggest aspect of spirituality for me because all of the religions, they're so judgmental, but they're so like hypocritical at the same time because they'll tell you you can't do this and then go and do it. And that just, like the trauma it created, you have no idea. This is why I personally love it. So, hearing someone else go through sort of similar thing. The religion wasn't for you, and then when you find spirituality, it's the expansiveness of it. There's no rule
Yeah.
that you have to do it this way. You have to follow this road. You have to follow this Bible phrase or purpose or this command. And the worst part is all of those commands can be expanded on and judged in different ways, but they are very black and white because they are thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, and then you walk out of the church and they're having affairs with everyone else's husband. Like, does not like, and then the stricture of how they define relationships and marriage and who can love, whereas spirituality for me is more expansive, it's more accepting. You can do whatever you want, it's just about being a good person coming from a good heart space. So, part of that process, did you actually go through a spiritual awakening? What occurred to you to open up to this particular realm? Because a lot of people will still see it. And even though you could have all of these clients coming from it and go, nah, and quite frankly, this is a quite common comment that I get from people very structured in religion and very close minded is that woo woo stuff's kooky and I don't want a bar of it. So, what made you open minded towards it?
Um, yeah, so it's a good question. Um, First of all, like regarding religion, I know that it suits a lot of people, and I'm okay with it. I'm not going to judge anyone about their life decisions. Um, it does provide a lot of structure and it does provide a lot of, I would say, peace in many ways for certain types of people. So if it works, it works. For me, I'm kind of like more in your like type of mindset, and that's I completely agree that that spirituality per se, like the expanded version, is something that I can relate to much more. As to my spiritual awakening, so it all started about 5, 6 years ago with the spiritual creators adopting Wizio more and more and more. And me speaking with those spiritual creators. At first, they were talking gibberish to me. I had no idea what they were talking about. They're talking about, you are the universe. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I couldn't even comprehend what they were saying. Um, and at first, I kind of like got frightened, and I didn't. I thought it's not. I'm not related to it, and it's not. And I don't have anything to do with it. Um, but I was truly intrigued to understand what they were talking about. And just like you said, like you tried out many different religions. I also tried out many different spirituality angles, the symbols and the stars and retrogrades and all of these things and the eclipses. So I started looking into like within spirituality, what do I connect with? And I actually don't connect with a lot of the stars things and astrology. Like this is like, again, it's not something that I completely relate with. What found me was more the world of mindfulness and the world of the fact that the universe and us is one, and we are the universe. And it's like the mindset and the way of thinking, the way of speaking, the way of interacting with everything, the way of seeing things in nature and within people, and that's where things clicked, but not to the fullest. When things really clicked was about 3.5 years ago, where my wife got late diagnosed with autism, ADHD, CPTSD, OCD, the whole package. And at first, I had no idea what that even meant. What is she even talking about? Um, and alongside like my spiritual journey that already started from Wizio, I started discovering what is autism, what is ADHD, what is OCD, and so on. That led me to understand all about neurodivergency and how the brain is literally different with neurodivergent people. And non-neurodivergent people. That led me to diagnose myself with ADHD, and of course, we're pretty certain that our daughter is also ADHD. But suddenly, many things that bothered me before and that I got annoyed about, suddenly I saw it in a different light, in a different shade, and it wasn't, oh, why the hell are you doing this? Are you dumb? Like in my internal mindset beliefs, it's like, oh wow, your brain thinks so different than my brain. I know that you're not dumb now. Your brain is thinks so different than my brain, and and it's fascinating to pick your brain and try to see the world from your point of view. And that led me to gain tons of humility, and I understood that I don't understand anything. Like I that my scope is super, super, super narrow, and there are so many different points of views that I have no right to how would I say it, to judge any, and like to judge the people who think otherwise. Now, of course, there will be people who do dumb things. It's fine, but with this awakening, I suddenly understood that people are different, and I should really, really learn and come up with way more question marks than exclamation marks. And that's where my spiritual journey really clicked. That's where where I really started to understand things, and it took time. The diagnosis, just started 3.5 years ago, and it takes about a year to even understand what is going on and what is neurodivergency, and what are the challenges and what are the differences and what are the pros and the cons and everything. So I would say that my real spiritual journey, like my awakening, really started about 2 years ago, which is 2 years post acquisition with Wizio and Hypsee. So 2 years within Hypsee, that's where I really feel like something really clicked there.
I love that. And neurodivergence is a hot topic in the world these days. For me personally, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a anyone, I just have an opinion on it, and it's my opinion. And that's most neurodivergent people that I've ever met are spiritually awake or aware and lack the control or understanding to realize what it is. And ADHD is they process things differently. So when you open up spiritually, you have the 5 different clairs that you have access to. And it's literally how we see, how we hear, how we feel, how we know. And that, along with the empathy factor of feeling emotions and doing things differently, the brain processes the energy different. And I even find a lot of the children that are diagnosed with ADD or ADHD or on the autism spectrum are highly spiritual, connected to other worlds and planes, can see things that we can't see. Like some people in neurodivergence will see, like, they can see calculations in the sky, they can see energy around you flowing, they can see the way, if you give them a car engine, they'll see a visualization in their mind of all the parts, how it fits together, and go and tell you that this is where it is. Others will hear, like I'm clairaudient, so I hear a lot of things. I can hear tones that no one can hear. I can hear pitch differences. I can't sing them or express them, but I can tell you the tones are out, and I can tell you when things are flat or when they're high. So other people will feel it, they'll energetically feel it. And some just know things that they can't possibly know. They'll know the ins and outs of working something. And these, like, autistic people have this amazing capacity and brain capacity of awareness that can blow your mind. And to me, it's just the greater connection of the spiritual aspect of it.
Absolutely. I want to add, I was so arrogant before I even understood that I don't understand anything. Like my wife, Avital, she's like super smart. And by the way, not all neurodivergent people are smart. It's kind of like this misconception that autistic people are geniuses. No, it's a spectrum of IQ. But I after the diagnosis, I would tell her, hey, like I would point at something and tell her, what do you see there? and she would see completely different things that I see. Like we would see a, I don't know, a social situation, right? Two people fighting. And I pointed these two people. I asked her, so what are you seeing there? And and what I saw was a furious spouse shouting at his partner, and they were very tense and whatever. She saw that her hair color was completely different than her eyebrows,
Rouse.
and that his forehead doesn't have proportions with his nose. And like, oh my God, like these are so many things that I completely overlooked
Ignore.
and ignored, right? And once you understand that that autistic people and even non-autistic people, once you understand that your view is so narrowed down to you, that's where the humility comes in. And that's where, once you understand that you don't know anything, it really allows you to open up and to accept and to receive so many different vibrations and frequencies in the world. And that's the real spiritual awakening, where you come with so many question marks and less exclamation marks. That's
Yeah.
that's like my number one tip for anyone who really wants to understand how to be more spiritual in a way. Like, hey, like cut off the exclamation marks, just come with question marks.
And that's literally what a spiritual awakening is. You start questioning everything. You stop taking for granted or other people's opinions and being told that this is the way it is. You start looking, but what if it was that way? What if this meant that? You start expanding beyond the limitation that an exclamation mark literally gives you. It stops the conversation. That's the end. This is the way that, no, it's not. Awakening is expansion. It is looking at different things. And the neurodivergence and the autism people, and I love especially talking to autistic children, what do you see? They see auras, they see colors, they see things floating. They'll tell you, like, still objects are not still, they vibrate. It depends on what level of frequency that you're at, and we all receive it differently.
Absolutely.
To put it
Absolutely.
in simple terms, go and ask anyone who's been at or witnessed an accident or a confrontation or something like that. And if you put 20 people in the room and you give them the exact same scenario, they're all in the same room of the same problem, you're going to get 20 different stories based on their perception. And this is what we don't give enough people credit for. We have different perceptions. You're seeing the anger and the control and the argument, whereas she's looking at minor details of the face shape and the nose looks wrong. So which one, if you had to describe what did the angry man look like, compared to what would she describe to a sketch artist, what would the angry man look like? Well, he's got a higher forehead and his nose is this. We
I
just
wouldn't be
see
able
it
to describe
differently.
how he looked like because I overlooked it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't see it. And that's
Yeah.
literally how the brain works, okay? We open up in NLP terms, right? We see 2 terabytes of information every second, 2 million bits per second, and we distort it down to 128. So we delete, generalize, and distort information. So all you're focused on is what you're seeing. This is why I say get 20 different perspectives of things. You'll see one part, someone else will have a different part, someone else will have a different part, because it depends on what their deletion and generalization is all about. What are they not paying attention to? She won't be looking at the argument whatsoever. Oh my God, she's beautiful. Look at what she's wearing. And people shake their head and go, what the hell? Well, what are you
Right.
wearing?
And and
What are
and
you
there's not,
judging
and
from?
you're right. And there's no true or not true. There's no better
Yeah,
perspective or worse perspective, like
it's different.
that it's just different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Me too. And it's one of the things that I love, like spirituality in itself. There's no confines in it. Okay. You've got astrology, you've got numerology, you've got healing and Reiki and breath work and Qigong and Tai Chi or movement. There's sound bars. There's all sorts of levels of it. There's like different layers of personality tests that you can go through. There's different layers of clairs and connection and intuition and mediumship and tarot cards or oracle cards and the tools that you can use. There's runes, there's palmistry. There are different avenues all for about communication. And you put 30 spiritual people in the room and they all have different tools, they're not going to give you the same version of the world either, because nobody
Absolutely.
can. There is no two human beings on earth, in my opinion, that will give you the exact same description of what earth is about, because it's
Right.
filtered by our own deletion, distortion, and generalization of what goes on in the world around us based on our experience. And this is the part that I love about spirituality, is when you stop judging people for their experiences and start questioning and wondering, how did that evolve to make them who they are? You can have two people go through the exact same trauma. One will come out fighting and another one will wilt and die. How can that be? How can that processing happen when they went through the same lifestyle, right? And
Absolutely.
that is the fascinating part about the deeper spiritual aspect. I could go down rabbit holes about it all day long. It's fun in that way. But living with and coping with someone who's like that has to change your perspective. You have to start understanding them and looking at them and accepting them in a different way. Otherwise, we're going to fall apart. So, opening up in that way is a beautiful thing. It's how we grow and evolve. And that to me is the true essence of a partnership and a relationship, when one partner discovers aspects of themselves that they're freely able to share with another, who's not going, well, you're hopeless because you don't see it my way, and how can you not understand me? But you can both see both parts of each other.
Yeah, I would say that it completely changed the dynamics of our relationship. And I would say that everyone needs to understand like this type of humility and type of difference among people, and it kind of became my life mission in many ways. Like I'm now my hobby now is to do Ninja Warrior. That I'm an athlete, and I actually got accepted to the Ninja Warrior TV show.
Oh,
The
congrats.
Yeah, thank you. The competition is in about 3 weeks,
Woo.
and like I'm becoming 40 in a month, and I have no real chance to win the show. That's for sure. There are
Never
kids
say never.
17.
Never say
Well,
never.
listen, like I'm realistic, okay? There are kids who are like 17 years old, 16 years old, 20 years old. They are amazing. They're phenomenal. There are hundreds of them out there. Um, so when they asked me, why do I want to get accepted to the show? I told them, listen, like my life mission is to now spread um, the awareness of spirituality, of neurodivergency, of this thing that people like really don't look at in the day to day, and that's kind of like my life mission. So I'm really living it, and I think that since I was awakened, my life has changed only to the positive. So I get less annoyed, less aggravated, less like way more patient, and it really just changed my life for the positive.
That's the best part about spirituality, in my opinion, is that we react less. We don't get me
Mm,
wrong. I can still go off like a firecracker. And if you push my buttons far enough, I'll still lose my shit, but not in the long term. So I'm mindful about it. I look at what is triggering me and how and why. What does that mean for me? What does that mean from my perspective? How can I change the way I respond? Like, social media is a classic, right? You see all these responses, and I have a piece of paper that sits in front of me, and it's the think acronym, and I've processed everything through it, especially when I write information and text. Is it my brain's just shut down. So is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it like nice, necessary, and is it kind? So these are the factors that you're going on about. So if I want to make a judgmental thing, I first turn around and go, think, is this truthful? Well, yes, I can put perspective and light and shade. And if I'm doing truth, I have to give truth from both sides. Okay,
yeah,
is it helpful? Is it going to help the person? Is it going to inspire them or uplift them? Is it intuitive? Is it insightful? Is it like nice or necessary? And is it kind? And if it's neither of those things, then I just don't post it anymore. Whereas I used to be highly opinionated, had great judgment about things, and believe I could convince you the sky was pink, purple, polka dots long before you could believe it was blue, for you to get me to shut up about it in the whole point, because that's how strong in my opinions and convictions that I used to be. And I'm now more aware of, okay, that's your perspective in the world. How can I preview that version of the world, make it fit into mine, and or do I want to, or do I need to, or can I happily live in my version of the world? Well, I happily live in my version of the world. I don't need to force it down anyone else's throat. I respond how I get taught. I put boundaries in place, and if you cross them, then I have rules and guidelines that tell me that I won't tolerate or put up with certain aspects. And that doesn't make you a bad person. I just lay down the boundaries and tell you what I'll accept or what I won't accept. And if you can't adhere to that, then I'm willing to move on and find myself surrounded by people that willingly can and will do that for me.
Yeah, you it reminds me of something of my principle. Like the think principle that you're using resembles my principle. It's called the work
Yep.
by Byron Katie. Katie, did you hear about that?
No.
So it's really interesting. It also talks about beliefs
Yep.
and self-regulation methods. It also consists of like four leading questions.
Mm-hmm.
When a belief comes up and it causes any type of discomfort or distress, you should ask yourself these four questions and actually do the work.
Yep.
That's like the method. Is it true?
Yep.
And that's the first question. And the second question is, can you absolutely know it's true?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the second question is kind of like this validation.
Yep.
And then the third question is, like, how do you react? What happens when you believe that? When you, okay, assuming that it's true, uh, how do you react? And like really dwell, dive into like thinking about your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth question would be, who would you be without this belief, without this thought, right? And then you just do it again and again and again and again for everything that you believe in.
Yep.
So, and with this method, a lot of those intrusive thoughts or just interesting a lot of these thoughts, you can actually dive deep into this and find the stem of it, and it really helps you understand like why are you reacting this way. You know what I mean? You can be you can be triggered by, I don't know, someone's late for your meeting, right? And then
Yep.
you're completely triggered, and then okay, and then you stop and you ask yourself, okay, what's the belief behind this trigger? Okay, so the belief is if they're late, they probably disrespect me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm not worthy, right? And now you start the work. Okay, is it true? I don't know if it's true. Or maybe like, can you absolutely know it's true? No, I don't know if it's true. Maybe there are other reasons that they're late. Oh, okay, maybe it's not related to me. Um, what happens when you believe that thought? Oh, when I believe that thought, my world is not a fun place to live in, and I'm always more way hyper aware of myself and my actions, and I can't trust anyone. And then like, who would you be without that thought? Oh, okay, without that belief, I would be a happier person. I wouldn't care about what others think of me, and yada yada yada. And then you kind of like break down this stress, and you really learn how to self-regulate. So it
Yep.
reminded me of your principle of the think. It reminded me it's different types of self-regulation methods, but
But
whatever works.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing because it this is about the inner work, and this is something that I teach as well when I do my coaching and how I help people awaken and look at their life. We go back and look at the instances in their life. Is that really what happened? For me, there are three sides to a story: yours, theirs, and the truth. And the truth is the overhanging aspect of both sides. One of my favorite like content creators is a young man named Sam Demmer, and he has this philosophy that if people like cut you off in traffic, or if they do something wrong, or they push in front of you in a line, or if they are in a hurry, assume positive intent. So if someone cut you off in traffic, well, assume that they're running to save their like they're driving their child to a hospital. Assume
That
that
they
they're
need it, that
racing
they
home
need
to
to
get
get
to the
in the
bathroom
traffic
because they're going to
lane.
die if they don't get there. Like someone pushes in front of you in a line, assume that they have a deadline that they have to meet, or they're heading to an emergency. how would you feel about it then? And well, if you assume that they're going on some dire thing, off you go. Good grace,
Exactly.
get there safely. You would pray for them and wish them safe
Yeah.
travels. And I hope that you get the resolution that you want, that your loved one is safe, that this happens. Because a lot of the time, that can be what's going on behind the scenes that we never know about.
Right. And this is, and the way we train our mindset is what we convey and pass on to the next generation. So, like with our daughter, she has these thoughts about things all the time. Like, we can go somewhere, let's say to the beach, and we're gonna go inside the water, and then she tells me, "Well, Abba, what if someone's gonna take my shoes? Well, because I left them in the shore."
Yeah.
And I told them, well, listen, if someone will take your shoes, probably they needed them more than you did, right? So let them take them, and it really frees her mind. It really releases it, when she knows that this is the mindset,
Mm.
she can let go, and she can really enjoy the world. So like this spiritual awakening also, absolutely a catalyst for it was the birth of my daughter. Now she's 6, and you know once you're self-aware, once you start your spiritual awakening, you understand that anything that you won't face, you
Yeah.
will pass it on to the next generation. So we as parents have a highly motivation to touch upon so many things within ourselves in our spiritual journey, so that our next generation could live a way more positive life.
And that's so important. It's about, ultimately, that's what spirituality is for me, about what we're teaching others, how we invite them to become more awake, aware, connected, and realign with that oneness. I have the law of oneness is one of the greatest spiritual principles. We're all connected in every way. And what we teach our children, what are the lessons that we want to pass on? And this is where so many people do become more spiritually aligned and reawakened to the greater aspects of like humanity and connection and vibration, when they're looking at what are the lessons they're passing on to their children. So if she has a fear about that, what a gorgeous thing. Okay, well, they obviously need it more than you do. Then we can get another pair. Like, they may not have the capacity to get them.
For
And
example, yeah.
if she was given the option and someone else needed them more than her, she would probably give them willingly anyway. So,
Yep.
what a beautiful gift that you're honoring her with. And I love that. So, thank you for sharing that with your daughter. That is beautiful.
Thank you. And there was one more thing that for me is like kind of part of the essence of spirituality. It's when you truly understand that nothing is in your control, nothing but your reaction. You can
Yeah, it's
only
true.
control your reaction.
Mm.
World is happening. Events happen. Shit happens. Like, we call it shit. Events happen. We can call it shit. We can call it wondrous. It's up to us on how we interpret things. The only thing we have control over is how we react to those events, nothing else. And once you truly understand it, it really frees you.
That's
So
what
again,
sets you free the most, right?
exactly.
Unfortunate, bad circumstances happen. Disease happens, death happens, accidents happen, world events happen, bad things happen. And we can either allow that to disrupt us or cause us great pain or impact us and make us change, or we can look at it as, okay, what can I gain from this? How can I use this to boost myself forward? How can I evolve through this? Because all of those for me are lessons that come along the way, and your life has to go through them for you to evolve into the person that you are, the identity that you're obtaining, and you can't get there any other way. So these
Right.
hurdles, these ups and downs matter.
Yeah, so I'm gonna challenge like what you even said, because for me, nothing is bad and nothing is
Yeah.
good. Like you said, bad things happen, but for me, things happen, right?
Yeah.
And we can decide if it's good or bad. If there's now an epidemic and it kills 1 million people, is it necessarily bad? I'm not sure. Like, that's the whole point. Like, we question everything. Things just happen, right?
Yeah.
And like, I try to change my mindset from good and bad
Yeah.
to love and fear in a
Mm.
way. So like, for me, if it's good, it's love, and if it's bad, it's fear.
Yeah.
because there's no real good or bad,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean,
No,
right?
absolutely. And I get it. It's the language aspect of it. The bad aspects, and they aren't necessarily bad, okay? I hate to tell people death is a foregone conclusion. We're all going to die one day. It's what happens. It's part of the evolution of life. It's how we handle it, okay? We need to grieve. We're going to be upset. We know loss happens. And loss happens in many different ways. And we make it worse by labeling it as bad, but it is, stuff happens, and each one's a lesson. What is it teaching you? How can you learn through it? How can you evolve through it? It's part of the journey. And
Exactly.
we don't always like parts of the journey. They can be highly uncomfortable. They can be highly
Absolutely.
distressing. You will always get through it. Time will pass and things do happen, and better things can happen again if you just give yourself grace.
Absolutely.
That's a wonderful reminder. Thank you so much, Adam. Okay, I'd
Thank
love to
you.
get back to a little bit more about Hypsee and explain how the system works and why a spiritual entrepreneur will want to come and get access to it.
Okay, so Hypsee is an infrastructure for spiritual creators to manage their business. We provide all the tools for a spiritual creator to give proper one-on-one advice to their followers in the way that suits them. So we have recorded readings where someone could go and send their question at their free time, and then the creator, whenever they have their own spiritual, call, that's when they can actually do the reading and provide you a recorded reading through video, audio, and chat. That's one form. The other form is live stream management. Many creators these days want new exposure, and a very good way to get new exposure is through live streaming on the social media platforms. Especially TikTok these days, you get a lot of exposure through TikTok. The problem when you do live streams with those social media is that platforms is that they charge tons of commissions for every gift that you give. So eventually, you don't get a lot for your effort, and you never get the lead. The social media platforms never give you those leads. So if you use a third party, you'll be able to collect payments in a proper way and collect those leads so that you could later on upsell them. So we provide all these tools, ready to go tools for those social media creators. The third offer that we offer is scheduled readings. So just like what we're doing today,
Mm-hmm.
there's a schedule, there's a calendar. You pay for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, and then you do the reading. But what we're seeing lately is that we have a new product called Instant Calls. It allows creators to be online on demand and charge by the minute. They toggle their availability online and offline according to their schedule. And whenever they have a free hour or so, they actually notify their followers, and then their followers can actually call them and give them and get access to them on demand. The reason that it works so well is because, you know, uh, many creators charge hundreds of dollars upfront for, half an hour or an hour of reading. And this is something that many followers, especially new ones, are hesitant to pay up front. I don't know. I don't want to pay $200 per hour. I don't even know like what I'm going to get. So what creators do is that they actually use the instant calls and they break it down to a per minute rate. So instead of charging $200 upfront per hour, they charge $5 per minute or $6 per minute. And that lowers the barrier of entry psychologically for new clients. Oh, I can pay $5 per minute. It's not $300 or $200 per hour. But if you summarize the face value for your hour, it does sum up to $300 per hour, $360
Yes,
per
no,
hour
no.
for $5 to $6 per minute. So this system creates a win-win situation for everyone. For the followers, gives them the certainty that they're not going to spend now $200 for maybe a bad service, but only a few dollars per minute. For the creator, they still can provide high quality service and get the high rates that they deserve for their time, because many creators, struggle with charging a lot of money for their time. In a way, we can talk about it if
Yep.
you want. But and that creates and that deepens the relationship. Now, what we're seeing is that we're seeing this trend where followers are kind of more and more expecting this type of communication, and creators who won't offer that, the way I see the future is that they'll be out of the game. Like,
Yep.
of course, there will be the big creators who do offer scheduled ratings and will get all of those ratings. The mega creators, they'll be okay. But let's say the second tier and onwards, those who won't offer instant accessibility, instant on-demand access, those their followers will just find others who do offer on-demand access and get that instant remedy that they're looking for um, immediately.
Mm.
So that's what we're seeing, and that's the reason people should use Hypsee, because building all of these tools themselves, building all of this infrastructure themselves, will take ages. Like, we're a company, we're a big company. We're building these things. We put a lot of thought and love and effort and resources into these solutions. So this is like the monetization solutions, but we also have other solutions. We've got a CRM within the system where you could reach out to all of your followers. And part of the difference between reaching out through us as opposed to reaching out through Instagram or any other social media is that when you do a post on social media, you get about 2% exposure. So if you have 100,000 followers, maybe 2,000 will see you. On Hypsee, we guarantee 100% exposure. So all of your Hypsee followers, all of your Hypsee clients it's a guarantee that they will be notified for any action that you do. So in a way, you don't need 100,000 followers to maintain a successful business, because if for every post you get 2,000 people who are exposed to it anyway, so maybe change your system, and by doing that, you'll only need a few thousands of followers who get 100% exposure, and the effect will be pretty much the same. So it gives a lot of hope for those creators who will never reach 100,000 subscribers, because some creators just don't. They're very niche, they're very small, they're just doing it part-time, whatever. And still, we want to give accessibility to spirituality to everyone who wants to provide it and to actually receive it.
So Hipsy's got its own sort of platform like Instagram or Facebook that people can see. Is there a posting function or is it just access to like a mailing list?
Yeah, so like, from the client's end, it's kind of like a Fiverr for spiritual creators. You have your own shop, and it's kind of like a link tree for spiritual creators. You click on a link, you land on your profile, and you see everything about you. You see your services, you see the reviews, you see your bio, you see your other offerings, your websites, your videos from social media. We enhance your profiles with a lot of data about the creator itself. On the back end of the creator, you can set your front store the way you want, and you have this emailing system where you can notify all of your followers. So it's kind of like this back-end infrastructure that supports your shop,
Mm-hmm.
if it makes sense.
Yep. Nice. And when it just reminds me, so the charge per minute is quite a common thing across spirituality, especially for tarot readings, psychic readings, intuitive readings, or even mediumship. We used to have a program here in Australia called Psychic TV, or there was a dialer psychic per minute rate where you could just ring up and you pay for however many minutes you talk to. With Hipsy, as a program for the spiritual entrepreneurs out of there, I know on Psychic TV I had friends and everything go on it. The client would pay so many dollars and then the reader only got a very minor percentage. Is the creator getting all of the money or is there a fee? How does that work?
So, good question. So we are the first company that is giving access to the pay-per-minute technologies with relatively affordable and low commissions. There are marketplaces today. So the Psychic TV at the time now is replaced by marketplaces on the internet, such as California Psychics, Keen, and so on. You can sign up as a creator there. They will give you a contract. You will need to work 40 hours a week. They will give you demand. and they will give you access to the per minute tools. The problem with those marketplaces is that they charge about 60 to 80% commission for every client that they give you. And it makes sense because they spend millions of dollars bringing the demand to you.
Mhm.
Hypsee is different. Hypsee is not for the regular psychics. Hypsee serves independent psychics who already have a business. So if I already have a business, if I already have clients, I wouldn't want to join those marketplaces because I already have my business. But they don't have access to the tools, to the per
Yeah.
minute tools. And that's what Hypsee actually opens up for them, for all the independent creators. And yeah, we of course we don't do things for free. We have to make a living. We charge commissions. Our commissions vary from 9.6 to 29.6% commissions, depends on the service and the volume. You can go, everything is transparent. You can go and read it in the terms of use, but definitely not 60 to 80% commissions. Absolutely not. We kind of like want to see ourselves as kind of like the Robin Hood of the spiritual industry in the aspect of providing access to all of these top-notch technological tools.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, as an entrepreneur, you talk about you take a commission of that. If a client was, just say I set up a profile and I have the permanence going, I set aside, say, 2 hours every day to come on and do 1 minute readings. And just say in that 2 hours, I did an hour and a half worth of reading. So I was online for 90 minutes. That money goes into Hypsy first, or does it go to the creator first and then you send us a bill? Or the
Yeah,
technical
good
side of
question.
that, how does that work?
Good question. So we we work kind of like as an escrow in a way, where the client pays Hypsy, and once you answer the call, once you hang up on the call, you get the money to your Hypsy balance. You can
Mm-hmm.
withdraw your money within whenever you have $50 plus in your account. But we don't give you automatically the money. We hold it as an escrow, and the reason that we do it is because we want to give the clients kind of like this security net where just in case things go wrong, they have somewhere
Yeah.
uh, uh, to complain and get their refund, get their cash back, and so on. So this gives a lot of security to the clients to actually go and make the call.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to if we would do it directly, many clients would actually oppose and have a lot of and won't have the confidence that if something goes wrong, they have somewhere to go to. So we actually deliberated if we should have, if we should hold the money or transfer everything directly to the creator immediately. But that was the business decision that we took, and I think it may make sense, even now after years of operating.
And what's the delay there?
So you every money that goes in, we freeze that specific amount for 5 days, just
Okay.
to prevent fraud and to prevent, fishy things.
Okay.
So after 5 days, you can go and withdraw your money whenever you have $50 plus in your account.
Beautiful.
That's how it works.
Yeah, just transparency, because I know that I I know a few friends that would be interested in this service, and I can tell you these are the questions that they would want to ask. And
Absolutely.
after the
Yeah.
podcast, I don't want them coming to ask me because I don't know. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
for
easier
sure.
if you tell us. And it makes sense. I know on other platforms, because I've been associated with them and I know people that have worked on them, it takes longer. So just curiosity about that. I
Yeah,
love
no,
that as
we had this incident where we gave away some coupons for credits, and we saw this creator opening 20 accounts at a time
mm,
and getting those credits and paying one single account all those credits and immediately trying to withdraw the money. So
yeah.
luckily, we had this 5 day delay so that we could actually investigate every withdrawal and see that it's legit. Otherwise, she would, get the money and she would fraud us with,
Mm,
tens of thousands of dollars out there. So,
mm.
we have to protect ourselves, but it's 5 days, so it makes sense.
It's not a problem. I love that. And it's really a good understanding to see that it can happen and things like that do happen. And you want to make sure that both the creator and the client are protected, and the client knows that there are safety nets within it, and the creator knows upfront like how long is the delay, because some people, depending on where their business is at, might be thinking that, oh my god, if I do 2 hours work and I earn like charging $6 a minute, I do it for 90 minutes, that means I'm going to get like $450 and I want that now. But oh my god, well, why don't I get it now? I have to wait 5 days. If they're not aware of that, that's going to cause problems with the
Yeah.
sale of the program. You're going to get complaints from creators. But transparency is the key for me. That's just the basic understanding of it. And it's not unusual. Like, even I have at the moment a system where if you book a reading online, it goes through Stripe or Square, and they take sometimes a day or 2 days to transfer into the account. There is no instantaneous thing. I was just curious as to, does it go to you first or does it come straight into the bank account? Is it something that you have to manage at this end, that I have to get a bill and then make sure that there's enough money coming back? It's a
Yeah.
headache some days. Like, yeah.
We try to be as transparent as possible. We're really open to feedback. We built a dedicated customer support team that will answer you within a few hours to get, any type of response. We really care about what people think about us. We really care to provide substantial service, and we're open to feedback. If there's anything that people are not pleased with, we always ask how was the support, and we try to improve it. So yeah, we're on our journey as well.
I love that. And is there an upfront fee to get started with it?
No, not at all. You can just sign up. Everything is completely for free.
Beautiful.
The moment that you earn, that's when we start charging those commissions. If you don't
Fantastic.
earn, we don't charge.
Oh, how great.
Yeah.
So, if there's a spiritual entrepreneur out there who's sitting on the fence and going, one, do I have enough clients in my connection? Two, do I want to turn professional and maybe start doing this more? And three, oh my God, can I do this, or is it a headache, or what's going on? What advice would you offer someone that's sitting on the fence, not sure what to do about starting being professional in reading, offering services to a greater community, and how big or small can a community be before you start?
Yeah, it's such a good question, and it's like a really a comprehensive answer because I've seen everything from everything. Like the size doesn't matter in the spiritual industry. We saw small creators with just a few hundreds of followers making thousands of dollars a month. We're seeing huge creators with hundreds of thousands of followers not making a lot of money at all at Hypsee. It really depends on who you are, your engagement, your audience, your offering, your pricing, your availability. Like there are so many variables that can like make or break your business. Um, and so many different use cases. There are mega creators who use us. We have creators with millions of subscribers out there. They become available 1 to 2 hours a week. They charge $15 to $35 per minute. That's what they charge. They make thousands of dollars per hour. And they use Hypsee as kind of like a complementary access service, as a kind of like a treat for their followers, for the most VIP premium, dedicated, devoted followers. Then we see the other creators, like very small creators who are available 12 hours a day, because their methodology is to be as available as possible to show their audiences that they can start the journey and rely on them, that they will be there for them in case of need. So there are many different types of usages with Hypsee, and it really depends on the creator and the circumstances. Um, but as for someone who is not sure, my immediate advice is start and see. Just start, do the first step, build your profile, sign up, do a disappearing story. If you don't want to commit to a post, if you don't want to change your links, no worries. Build your profile, do a story, say, hey, I'm using this new service. Want to check it out? I'm available now for the next 3 hours, and post it. Do a few experiments, see what works for you. Maybe the recorded readings will work for you better. Maybe the live stream management will work better. Maybe start experimenting. Be cool, be chill, but just do something. That's the first advice that I can give. Um, and of course, outside of Hypsee, if you're not sure like how to start, just start. You'll find your way. Some people start with a lot of live streams on the social media platforms, others start with content. But the most important thing is you have to remain authentic. Don't rely on ChatGPT, on AI, because everyone knows it's AI, everyone smells it's AI. You lose all of your touch and your authenticity and your magic when you contaminate your content with AI. AI can help you think, can help you with the infrastructure, can help you, but don't let AI be you. Don't let AI create that content. It's so distinguished that you can't ignore it anymore. You're just going to lose.
Mm.
So if that kind of like makes sense.
It does, and it's really helpful because I have a lot of people come to me wanting to start and what to do, and I tell them the same thing. The best thing you can do is just start. One person is enough. You will grow in time. It takes you need dedication, you need consistency, and that consistency doesn't have to be every day. But if
Yeah.
you commit to say 2 days a week, just show up every 2 days a week. Like keep on it and build it one step at a time, one platform at a
Yeah.
time, one
and
piece at a
and and
time.
start small. Start small.
Yeah.
Like, don't charge high prices
Yeah.
at first. Start small. Get a foot in the door. Get to 20 recurring clients. That's our first milestone as a company. Get to 20 recurring clients. Like, the math is amazing. If you have 20 recurring clients who pay 30 minutes a week for $3 per minute, you've got a substantial business. So your first milestone is to get to the first 20 clients, and do whatever it takes, right? So if you need to start doing readings for free, or doing complimentary readings, or whatever it is, giving away freebies, just understand that this is part of the journey. It doesn't determine anything about your actual value. It's that you are in at the beginning of your journey, and this is what's necessary for you to get that foot in the door. um, it's kind of like resembles, in a way, I do mentorship services, and I always had this. I always wanted to do mentorship with people, and I always knew that I have tons of value to provide and tons of value to give, but I didn't know how to start, so I just volunteered and I just posted on my socials, "Hey, I'm giving away free consultations. Let's see who's interested in having those." And I got a few people interested in me walking them through and guiding them, and after a few sessions, I was like, "Oh, okay, now I understand better what I should do, how I should price, how I should do this, how I should do that." And then I started charging, and today I'm charging very high prices, but I started for free, and it doesn't mean anything about you. So, like, that the purpose is like that is the goal, is the ultimate thing, and any means, just get there.
I love that because when I first started doing readings years and years ago, I originally started charging like $30, and over time it's built up and built up and built up. I now have my hourly rate and I'm comfortable with it. It goes up quite regularly because that is progression and that's what it is. And the more experience that you get, the greater the prices that you can do, the more time constricting you can get, or the more giving that you can be. It's perfectly okay to start low. It's perfectly okay to do free offerings. I do free readings on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram and that every now and then, just for the sake of it gets you a wider audience. Some people need to test you to see how well you are, to
And they will
really
bring their
work
friends.
out
They will give you
what
good
they do.
reviews.
And those referrals work. Like,
Yeah.
just take a step, get out there, show yourself. And if you have this gift, the world needs it. Don't ever think that you're too small to start, that there's too many people, it's too competitive, there's too many better people out there. There are 8 billion people in the world. We can't read all of them. You have to know that we need more of us to service the rest of humanity.
It's actually such a good point. I really want to add to this. When I started my mentorship programs, a lot of the thoughts that I had was, why would anyone go to me when there are so many other mentors who are 10 years more experienced than I am? And I asked that question to one of my mentors, and he answered, "Listen, Adam, like, there are many preferences for different people. Some people would prefer someone young and juvenile, and so they can feel that they're going through this journey together. Some people prefer the experienced, know all type of person, type of personality. Like there are so many people with so many preferences. Some people prefer males and females and whatever it is. Like there's so many different preferences. So just you be you and don't try to be anyone else, and you will attract your people will come.
Yeah. And that's true. You will find your tribe. Energy attracts energy. There's no one better or worse. There is no level of experience that is more. Like, I've been doing this for so long, I don't put myself above anyone. Your connection is going to attract the right person who needs that message from you. The way you articulate it, your experience of the world, the way your history shows up, the connection that you create, the way you deliver messages, whether you see them, hear them, feel them, the descriptions that you put out there is what people are going to relate to. The language that you put across, whether you come across as funky, weird, like highly articulate, or crazy, very simple minded, or highly woo woo, like there is an opportunity for everyone. There is a variety out there for everyone. And the only thing and advice I would give you is to create a niche of sorts and to create a base of wanting to serve people from your own life experience, because that's the energy that is going to magnetize to people out there. And trust me, there are millions and billions of people out there like you, and there's plenty for us to choose from. Like, I know some people go, oh, but it's too competitive, it's too this, it's too that, and they're not as good as me, and they're not this or that. In the world of spirituality, there are no levels. Like, I'm more than happy to nurture. This is what I do as a business as well. I help people learn how to tune in, tap in, do it, learn to nurture the business, how to show up, how to be it, simply because there are people out there can only ever relate to you,
Yeah.
no matter what they do. I can't relate to everybody. I have a story, I have an energy, I have a frequency that attracts people that have similar stories, because we need empathy and true understanding of that journey. There's no use going and finding someone that when they come to me with their life story and I look at them going, I can't relate. I can't understand. I can't guide you if I have no understanding or experience of what you've been through. And trust me,
Yes.
so many people have been through what you've been through. That's why you went through it in the first place, in order to lead from the front, show them what they are, and to help master those lessons by giving them guidance, strategy, and clarity around what they're struggling with, because your story matters.
Completely agree.
I really thank you for sharing all of this with me. I love the program. I'm going to go check it out myself. It sounds so fascinating. I have not looked at doing those types of readings. I'm connected to lots of readers here in Australia, and any of my friends that want to find out more, please connect and let's have an investigation together. I think it is a valuable thing that is outside the norm and less restrictive to other people, because it is self-managed and it is something that you have control of, your time, your energy, and the way you show up in the world. So thank you for sharing this beautiful program and doing the work, because I do believe that you got this inspiration from spirit in itself. As one final advice, as a business person or entrepreneur, what is the one thing that you either wish you were told or knew when you were starting your journey, or what would you offer to anyone considering doing further work or expanding? Like, a lot of people have all these great ideas, they have a base business and they're not sure how to expand it or how to grow it. What advice would you offer of how they can succeed?
Hmm. Um, well, there are many pieces of advice. I would assume that um, consult with many people, but cherry pick the things that suit you within those consultations. Many people have many ideas, many opinions, many directions. Try to understand your direction alongside those consultations and know to cherry pick out of the big advice that you get what is related to you and what isn't related to you, and stick to it and try it out and go and do it. So like, do consult with people, but eventually cherry pick your way and start doing it, and then reiterate and go, and vice versa. That's just the cycle. Advice, cherry pick, perform, and reiterate. That would be the advice.
And it's really great advice because everyone has an opinion, right? And I'm very mindful when expressing my opinion and telling people that this is my opinion, it works for me. I offer advice and say that if it sits with you, run with it. Same as spirituality. If it sits with you and you agree with it, take it with you. If it doesn't and you reject it for whatever reason, I'm not offended. My opinion isn't your opinion. You have the free will and the sovereignty of self to choose what works for you and trust your instincts, your gut, and follow your rhythm all the time.
Right, but it only works when you don't fall in love with anything. Okay, like you have to do that, and then you have to examine, and then you reiterate, and then you do it again and again and again. You don't fall in love with anything until you actually see that it clicks and it aligns with you, with your personality and your vision.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to do as many mistakes in the world, as long as you reiterate, as long as you learn, as long as you go and try again and again and again.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
I call that test and measure. That's how I do everything. Test it. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't, throw it in the bin.
Exactly. Fail
And one
fast.
last question, please, Adam. Where can people find out about Hypsee? How can they learn about it?
So it's very easy. Just, write Hypsee, Hypsee. You'll find us, Hypsee.com, Hypsee on the socials. You can find me on Instagram. It's Adam_FRX if you want to follow me. It's kind of like spirituality and Ninja Warrior content and motivation content. But yeah, Hypsee is a very distinguished name. So, you can go and just search it and Google it and find us.
I love that. And when you're on Ninja Warrior, you're going to share a link of how we can watch it?
Yeah, if you'll follow me on my socials, then absolutely.
I'm so excited. I, I I love the value of it. I'm the most unathletic person. So watching someone do it, I love it. It's one of the great shows to really see the flexibility and diversity of strength and agility that people have blows my mind. It literally does. And I'm like, got no desire to do it. So finding someone and meeting someone real that wants to do that, like I'm definitely going to come and watch that. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much as well. I had such a good time, Shaz.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I am definitely going to check out this program. I will have a look at the ins and outs. We will talk some more. Thank you for joining me. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.